Hello, everyone. It's good to be able to share with you like this. I do miss going round preaching and being in your pulpits across the circuit and seeing you all. But the training's going well, so I think, and the job's going well in Barrow Hill and in Rotherward, and we're seeing more and more people, and hopefully developing more and more discipleship stuff for people to come and join in with, which is quite exciting. And that leads on to why I'm doing this video for you guys today. I wanted to share some thoughts with you around mission and evangelism and fulfilling the calling that God has given us, that Jesus gave his disciples in Matthew 28 to go and make more disciples. And then in Acts chapter 1, Jesus says to go and be my witnesses. Um, and I wanted to just share some thoughts around how we do that as church. How can we do that in today's generation? My hope is that all of you want your church to grow. All of you want to see more people coming to know Jesus, more people coming to be part of our worshiping community. And if you don't, then I'm worried. But that's the hope, isn't it? We want to see our churches alive and people's lives being transformed. But how do we take part in this? Because ultimately God is already at work in people's lives. God is already at work in the communities. We need to join in with God and the work that He's doing. We have to play a part in this because we are His hands, His feet, and His mouthpiece in this world quite often. So how can we as a church uh, fulfill our calling? Well, I think one good place to start is to look at the example of Jesus and how Jesus did it, how Jesus made more disciples, how Jesus did mission and evangelism. The first thing to take note of is that Jesus just didn't stay in one place. He went everywhere. He went to Samaria, he went to Capernaum, he went to Jerusalem, he went to Tyre and Sidon, he went all around Galilee preaching and teaching. He went back to his hometown in Nazareth. He went all over the place. He didn't stay in one place expecting people to come and see him. He went out there. And actually, he gave us a clue too when he sent his disciples out. He said, go to the homes and the villages and the communities. I'm sending you to do what I have been doing. And the reality is, for many of us in our churches, we have just stayed put in our buildings and expected people to come to us. That doesn't work. Might work once in a blue moon, but it doesn't work. So our job as a church is to go into the communities, to go and be present there, to go and meet people, to go and find people rather than expecting them to come to us. How can we do that as a church? How can we do that as individuals? Well, we can look at different ways and different ideas of doing that in this video. The two things I wanted to raise, another examples of Jesus. They're two wonderful examples of evangelism that Jesus does. And one is the woman at the well in John chapter 4. He goes for a drink at the well and meets a woman there, has a wonderful conversation about faith. This woman's life is transformed. She becomes a disciple and she goes off to tell everybody else. She becomes the first evangelist too. And then there's the road to Emmaus, where Jesus goes on a long journey with friends. These are disciples of his that he spent a lot of time with, and he goes on this long walk to Emmaus. And right at the end of that walk is when they see Jesus, when they see him, and their hearts are alive again and they believe again. Now, I wonder in our churches, in our communities, in our lives as individuals too, where are the wells where we meet people? And who are we journeying with on long roads? So in our communities, there are different wells, aren't there, to meet people. We meet people at the school gate, and the schools are a good place to be a well. Places like the bus, being on the bus or at the bus stop, places like Gus's Kitchen, where I am, is a well where we meet people and we can have conversations. Where are the wells in your community that you as a church can go to? I wonder if there are wells within your church. Are there community groups that meet within your building that you can go and be a part of and to have conversations with people through? And you as an individual, Where do you go? What about the doctor's waiting room? Where do you go where you meet people? Where can you have these conversations? And ask God to have these opportunities to have these conversations. But who are the people you're on a long journey with too? Who are the people you're spending a long time with? These are often our friends and our family. There are people that we share our faith with over a long period of time, and that's a good example of how we can impact people's lives and help people come to know Jesus. But Jesus did it in those ways. But he also had those intentional conversations. Quite often, we're nervous about sharing with people who we are, that we go to church, that we are a disciple of Jesus. It's quite hard for us to share that with other people. And I want to encourage you to be courageous and just be who you are. Just be honest and true to yourself. You don't need to have all the fancy words. You don't need to know your Bible back to front. You just need to be honest about your journey with God and share with people about what you believe about God. And be honest, if you don't understand and you don't know and you can't answer questions, just tell them you don't know. And maybe we can explore that with those people as well. So we have to be courageous to have those conversations. Um, and those one-to-one conversations are what we should be looking for, both as an individual and both as a church. But then to invite them into some sort of community, because that's what Jesus did. He had the one-to-one conversations. He formed a community with these people. And we need to be able to do that. We need a space where people feel safe and loved and welcome, and a space that isn't too frightening. Sunday morning isn't that space, and you're going to hate me for saying it, but it just isn't. People don't understand the songs. People don't understand the language that we use. People don't get Holy Communion, that we're eating somebody's body and drinking somebody's blood. People find it frightening and off-putting. So can we offer a space, an informal space, a comfortable space where people can explore faith, where people can ask questions, where people can wrestle with some of the really hard questions like where is God when there is suffering? Can we offer that as an individual? Maybe we can take people to a coffee shop or take people down the local pub. But as a church too, what can we do that's more informal? Um, that can engage people in this wonderful way. And then Jesus changed their lives, didn't he? He met their need. He found out where people were in need in the community and met that need by healing, deliverance, showing love, feeding people, whatever that might have been, he met that need. So I wonder, do you know your community well enough to understand what the need is in that community, to understand what people are looking for and searching for, to understand where the gaps are in helping people in your community. And maybe that might just scratch an idea in your mind, in your head to think, oh, my, yeah, that there's that missing in our community, or our community could really do with something like that. And then can you offer it? Can you do it? Can you fulfill that need? The first stage in that is getting to know your community well. We need to understand the demographic that we're in as a church community to find out what's going on, what's happening, what's missing, what are people in need of. And then to get that idea, find that gap. One example for me was at Barrow Hill when started meeting people. Everybody I was talking to said there's nothing for the children to do here. Everyone I talked to said that. So we set up a kids club to be able to offer that as a service, but also to enable us to get to know people and build relationships. So what's that look like in your church community, in the community that your church is in? And then to finish off with, he still didn't stay put. He kept going to the next place and to the next place. And so we really need to be that sent church. We need to be a church that goes to our community, that doesn't stay put in our little buildings, but goes into the community to be salt and light, to be the hands, the feet, and the mouth of Jesus. and to keep meeting new people, to keep finding people at the well or journeying with people on the road. It is about courage. We need to be bold and courageous. It is about doing some research, finding out about your community and being curious, getting to know people, showing love to people. People respond so well to love and kindness. How can we offer that to our community as a church? A lot of people I've got to know over these last few weeks, these last couple of years, in fact, people want to be listened to. People want to tell their story. People want some support and a shoulder and an ear to hear what's going on in their lives. How can we do that as a church? How can you do that as an individual in the community your church is in? These are all very challenging questions that I'm offering you today, but this is the thinking that we need to be doing as a church community to try and transform the community around us and to try and make more disciples as Jesus is instructed us to do. It all stems to relationship. We need to get to know people and journey with people as Jesus did with his disciples. He spent 3 years with these people. And I'm not expecting things to happen overnight. In Barrow Hill, the relationship making process has taken a while, and the same in Rother Ward. We're still building on the relationships that we've formed and getting to know people and loving people. But that's where we start. And I want to encourage you as a church and as an individual to be courageous, to start making those relationships, having those conversations, and seeing where we can love and help people in the communities that we're in. So the challenge is there for you. I've got a few questions to ask you for the end of this video. So the first one is, what does it look like to be a sent church for you? What does it look like to be a sent church for you? My second question is, who are the people that you already have relationships with that don't come to church? So that could be groups that meet in your building. These could be people, family, friends, neighbours. These could be people who come to church for coffee mornings or things like that. But who are these people that you connect with already? These are the people that are on the Emmaus Road with you, that you're journeying with already. And can you turn those into faith conversations? Where can you go in your community? Where can you go and meet people? Is it the park? Is it the school? Is it, uh, I don't know, a library? Is it a community centre? Where is it that you can go and meet new people? Where are the wells in your community where you can engage with people? And can you do that digging? What is the need in your community? What's missing? Where's the gap? Can you fulfill a gap and a need that your community has? And lastly, can you love people? Can you listen to people? And can you just share your story about your relationship with God? Just be honest with them. Don't have to have all the answers, but share from your heart your experience of God and what you believe. And maybe, just maybe, they might find Jesus in a bit of that or all of that. And hopefully, God will be at work and supporting us and giving us all that we need to fulfill this mission He has called us to. Thank you for listening, everybody. God bless you all. Take care, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.